Hey everybody, it's Book of Katherine. I am on my way to the dentist for a second time in 2 days. So, not expecting to go. It's a surprise trip. What I had in my mouth yesterday popped out right after I got home. My poor husband, he's never ever going to get to do work again in his life. Alright, so, people are asking, like, I thought that you were doing back surgeries. Why are you doing dental work? Okay. So let's talk about that. So doing dental work is a huge sign that I'm getting better. This is the reason why. So when I say that I was trapped in my house and that my house was a prison for, going on almost 10 years, that's literally what I mean. I mean, I was not leaving the house. I couldn't leave the house. There's no dental appointments. There's no eye checkups. There's no getting the DMV records. There's no getting your driver's license updated. Your life is gone. I mean, people who are sick and in bed and disabled understand this. You lose your life. When you lose your legs, when you lose your ability to go outside, not everybody who loses their legs, when I say lose my legs, I guess that's the easiest way for me to understand it. And as a dancer, it feels like, oh, I lost my legs. But really, I had way more than that. I couldn't sit. There's extended family of mine that are in a wheelchair. They have a thriving life. They have a car that they can go into, that they can drive. I can't drive because I can't sit. Like, I'm learning to sit. I'm starting to sit. It is not a part of my daily activity. It's something I work towards. But honestly, like going outside, I told you guys I had written in my journal, like one of my dreams, one of my future goals is to be able to go outside and feel the wind on my skin. And I'm learning that, FND is a big part of this. And if you have, I shouldn't say lose my legs, it's having FND. And FND goes, it's not just FND I have, it's FND and then my spinal injuries and my head injury. That's really what we're talking about, and my knee injury. So there are my injuries as a dancer, then there's my injuries as the car accident, and then there's my FND. And honestly, my FND is probably because of 1 and 2. So my injuries as a dancer, and honestly, it's not just my injuries as a dancer. I was part of the play hard generation where they say, like, that's why I say it's so hard to watch videos now of all these fail videos when kids just so wantonly just throw themselves against a brick wall. Here, let me just skateboard against a brick wall. I did the same thing. I did skateboarding and I just went I put myself on wheels and I skateboarded and I just whammed myself, thung. Right now, I'm working the most on my upper spine, on my chest area. If you guys are following me on Twitter, you know that, right now, like, I've got my legs to work because we've had, over 13 spinal procedures. Those are hard. They're very difficult. They're extremely painful. You have to have guts and glory to go through it. I've had to do the physical therapy to go through that. You have to have balls of steel to get through it. And then on top of all of that, I'm like, yeah, I can move my legs. And now I'm using my legs to move around because my chest doesn't move off my chest pain. Now I'm going to have to start moving on my upper spine. And I can't help but wonder if, the time I flipped my skateboard and landed on the cement and I could not breathe and I thought I was going to die because I lost my breath so much and I crushed my spine during my developmental years. I'm like, well, how much did that have to do about it? What about the time that I blacked out, when I was just diving off the dive board, when I just went off the dive board and I blacked out in the water, and stuff like that. Like, because we all went diving off the dive board when we didn't have supervision. We had so much, we're kids and playing in the street and we did so much. We had so much access to so many things and there were so many things to do. And that's why I say, like, I don't know. I wonder, like, you combine all these injuries and then these head injuries, like I danced myself, I smacked there's just, you wonder how much of all of this increase to accumulate into the FND today. I see my point is, like, I see my knee injury, like, take my knee separated, right? My knee, and I know how that has nothing to do with my spine, and my spine is connected to my head, so I know that is FND. But my knee, I know that's all from dancing. I know that's from dancing and then falling on the trail. I see how bad my knee is over time, you know, over a decade after all the dancing and everything like that. I'm like, okay, like age, what age will do to the injuries. And so when I see those kids do stuff, I can only imagine even longer period when I did stuff even younger on my spine and on my head. I'm like, oh my goodness. So then you add on to that all the dance injuries, all the sports injuries, then when I danced hard, then when I taught hard, when I drove hard, when I did all this stuff, and then the car accidents. You know, then come the car accidents, and all that I'm sure accumulated into FND, you know. And so, I mean, the worst things, let's be honest, the worst things were the car accidents, right? The worst things were the car accidents. I rolled 4 or 5 times, you know, and I had my head go through a window, and all of that was in LA. I mean, it was really, really bad. LA accidents were really, really bad. And the first time I was tin can back and forth. All that was centered right around my spine, and it's really, really bad. Like, we can't go around that, and really, really messed up my head. But when it comes to FND, anyway, so my whole point, and I'm probably my FND is what makes it hard for me to concentrate and stay on a line of thought. But my point in saying all of this is to say, it culminated finally. All of it culminated into great ball of finally disabled me to the point where I couldn't sit up, I couldn't stand, I was flat on a bed, I couldn't sit in a wheelchair, I was flat out on a bed, and any kind of sitting up put me into seizure movements. And that was it. I was prostrate flat. When you are flat like that, sorry, there's nothing going in your mouth to check you. There's nothing going in your eye to check you. That's it. My focus for those years were on staying alive. My focus was staying alive. So all my focus was on getting to doctor's appointments. And when it got scary is when I couldn't get to the doctor's appointments. I got so bad that the doctors locally were like, we can't do anything for you. We can't do anything for you. So go to these doctors 2 and 3 hours away. Well, I was so bad that was very difficult for me to get to. So then it was like I had to keep canceling appointments because I would be such bad shakes and tremors that finally it would be every 6 months I was seeing a doctor or a specialist or anything. And I got so bad that I really thought I could feel the shifts of change in my body where I was like, I'm leaving. And that's when I was like, I got scared and I changed the way I did my healthcare, and I was like, I'm gonna leave this earth. And I've talked about that on my YouTube channel before and on Twitter before. I did everything differently. I really started fighting differently. I started doing other types, I started treating my doctor's visits differently. I started going to other types of medical care. I started going to I tried acupuncture, I tried craniosacral, I tried all these things outside of it. I started doing my YouTube channel. I did anything that I could differently, and my YouTube channel started recording how bad I was. But by then I was doing other types of treatment. And also after I did my YouTube channel was about a year after I really started seeing things differently, and I was like, I better start fighting. And it really, really changed my life that way. Like, it really, really changed things. My doctor started doing things. It was just a really, really big shift, and it saved me. Like, some of that treatment, I'm not going to lie, like, some of that treatment would come around and it would bring me really, really close to the bottom again. But then that would push me to do something new, like push me to do the channel, or push me to do a different type of procedure, push me to do something different with the channel, or doing something different with my treatment, or a different doctor, or search for something new. And so, because I'd seen that, hey, you know, like, being proactive in my healthcare provides results. Like, if no one's going to fight, the only one who can fight for you really is yourself. And so that's what I did. And now doing that, I have an amazing team like you guys, and now I can handle the wind on my skin. You know what I mean? I can wear like this, guys, that's really tight and warm, and I can get into for a prolonged amount of time and get into, you know, instead of like a bathrobe, and get into a doctor's office and have them stick something in my mouth. In the beginning, when I went in there, I have all this numbing medication around my mouth. Yesterday, they didn't have to put any numbing medication around my lips. They used to have to do that, put numbing medication all around my lips. I didn't have to do that yesterday. Sometimes they do. Sometimes when I have a bad day, we have to do that again. But man, like, we do put all this padding in my chair. But this is a big thing that I'm able to go in and start getting the things that very, very basic things, because not having dental care, it's near your brainstem. It can kill you. Like, you need to have good dental care because it's near your brain. It's near your heart. Like, it connects to your heart. If you aren't taking care of your teeth, you can die. Like, bad dental care, it's throughout history. You read about our founders. You know, bad dental care is what has killed a lot of the great men in history. It really has. That's why third world countries, that's why so many doctors without borders, that's why they work on dental cares. That's why dentists are so deeply recruited in Doctors Without Borders, because dental care kills. Like, if you don't have good dental care. So that's a big thing that I didn't have it for so many years. So the fact that I'm going in there and they're really getting me in there a lot because I haven't had it. And they're like, if you don't get this stuff, it's bad if you don't get it. Does that make sense? So in a way, once again, you guys are saving my life, and I thank you very much for it. And we're finally getting into some of the better stuff. For a while there, like, I'm having trouble chewing. Like, I'm down to I'm down to liquids. Like, today I had Ensure for lunch. Like, I can't chew a whole lot because my whole mouth is being replaced, and it's just, but my mouth was gone without care for a long time. And I'm very grateful that you guys have enabled. I couldn't do it without you. So anyway, I love you. Anyway, bye. Oh, so sorry. I guess I should talk about it more, but it's hard. So anyway, all right. I love you. Bye. Thank you. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for supporting this channel. Thank you for loving me enough to donate that $1 a month. It really, really helps, because I wouldn't be able to keep going without you. Thanks. Bye.